Well, who does not love a full face get ready with me? That is exactly what we're going to do today. I'm actually going to do my brows off camera, but we are going to do everything from eyeshadow to foundation to my entire makeup routine. So give me just a moment. We'll be back with the eyebrows and rest of the full face. Alrighty, we are back. So, as I said in the intro, we're going to do a full face today. We're going to do eyeshadow, foundation, everything that I do for my whole full face. I do spray my face with the Smashbox primer water, so I've already done that. I have not put my moisturizer on my face, but I do use this from Origins. It's called Original Skin. It's a mattifying moisturizer. I really like it. It smells kind of citrusy. It does help control some of the oil on my skin. Since it is kind of cold here, I don't really have much problem with oily skin, but in the summertime, I'm really, really oily. So I do use this as well as a mattifying primer. As you can see, I already have my brows on. I used this, which actually says it's an eyeliner, but I did use it for my brows. I contoured and carved out my brows with the MAC concealer, which is very, very old, so I have no idea what color it is, but I do like it. And then I did put a little dip brow in those sparse places. I did put a little dip brow in those sparse places to make it a little darker, because I do like my brows to be full instead of kind of sparse, especially when I have on a full face. So I do let the moisturizer sit on my face for a little bit so that it can kind of soak into the skin and kind of get in there to help with the oiliness if any happens to pop up. Since it is going to be a long day, I will be using a mattifying foundation as well. So which keeps my look, that matte, flat look that I truly enjoy. This is the brush that I use to carve out my brows with. It is actually a paintbrush, so you can't really see it. But I kind of scraped it off, but it does come from Michael's. It's really inexpensive. It's like $2 or $3, and I usually use a coupon to get it, but I have them forever, so I don't have to replace those very often. So now that I have sprayed my face, put my moisturizer on, I come back in with a primer. And today, I am actually going to use the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. Photo Finish, like I said, does give you that matte look. It is a silicone-based primer. So if you do have an issue with silicone, I would advise that you not use this one. There are tons of other mattifying primers out there, and my love of makeup has introduced me to quite a few. So I just put it on over my moisturizer, and as I said, I let it sit for a little bit so it can kind of dry and make your face matte, getting you ready for foundation. Now what I do, while all of that's sitting and doing its thing, I do my eyes, my shadow. I use tape to make my straight lines because I do like my wings straight. I used to be good at doing a straight line, but then I discovered tape and I kind of forgot how to do a straight line. So that's where we are with that. So I do put the tape right at the corner of my eye so that it sits there and it creates that line. Now today for eyeshadow, I'm going to pull out something that I got several weeks back. Normally on the Sabbath, I try to do a purple, but I'm going to do something a little different today. I am going to do a cherry. It is from the new Urban Decay cherry palette. It's not really new. I think it came out earlier last year. I think around Christmas time or something. I don't remember. I saw it. I dropped something, so I'm digging for it right now. Fill sticks. Okay, found it. Sorry. I just have to do things when I remember, because if I don't do it when I'm thinking about it, I will forget. So, as I said, this is the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette. It has a lot of wines in there, a lot of darker colors. So, I usually do a graduated effect with my eyeshadow. So, this one, it'll still allow me to do that because it has some lighter colors as well as some darker colors and as well as some glitter colors. So I found that Urban Decay is a really pigmented line. I do like a pigmented eyeshadow because I do like that depth and that pop. I do use the MAC paint pots as a primer for my eyes, as well as I use the Shadow Insurance. So there is a couple of things that go on my lids to get me started for my eyeshadow. I usually focus more on my eyeshadow than blush or lipstick because I just like the versatility and different things that you're allowed to do with eyeshadow. So I just put it really on my lid. I kind of drag it up into this area up here. I don't want it too cakey, but I do want a good firm foundation because I will be in my makeup for about 8 to 10 hours. So I do want it to look good. I do want it to sit. I don't want any creasing because when it starts to crease, it does look a little messy, a little thrown together. And you don't want that look after you've put all that time and effort in to doing your makeup. So this is what my lids look like thus far. I only put a little bit on there. Like I said, I don't do a whole lot with that. And so I am using a Sigma E35 brush. It's a brush that I've had for quite some time. It did come from its Roll Gold collection a while back. So to start off, I'm going to use Fullll. It is the fourth color from my right, probably your left. Just something to kind of go ahead and start that transition. Actually, I'm going to do Caution because Caution's more of a brownie color. So I'm going to put that directly onto the lid to give it a little bit more foundation to blend that out when I do put that dark color in. Because when I put the dark color in, you do want to have some transition. You don't want a harsh line unless that's your thing. I don't prefer a harsh line. So that is why I choose to do it that way. So I am going to go back in with Fullll. I'm going to pop it right there in the crease. So it does start that transition. Fullll is a beautiful pinky mauve color. Really, really pretty color. As I said, Urban Decay is usually very highly pigmented. And once again, they have not failed me. There is some kick up and fallout if you're wanting to know that part. That part doesn't bother me because I just brush it off and keep it moving. And, that doesn't bother me at all. So thus far, this is what we're looking like. We got that rosy, pinky, mauve color, which is usually totally different from what I do on Saturdays, which is the Sabbath, of course. So I'm going to go back in with a darker mauve color called Devilish. As I said, this does come from the Urban Decay Cherry palette. It's a beautiful, beautiful dark wine color. And I'm liking it. It's looking really, really good. It builds really well. It blends out really well, even with the fallout from it, which, like I said, doesn't bother me because I have tons of eyeshadows and fallout is not something that scares me or bothers me. So we've built up to a nice deep mauve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my brushes out now. I'm going to go to this BH Cosmetics really thin brush. And I'm going to go back in with a color called Drunk Dial. And it's a darker color, so I can't carve out that crease so that I can get that depth that I'm wanting, that transition that I'm wanting. Because on the lid, I'm going to come back with a more glittery color. It's probably going to be the color called Bang Bang. It's actually in this palette also. As I said, my goal is to use just this palette for this look. That may or may not happen, but we shall see. Thus far, we're doing pretty darn good. Drunk Dial has a little bit of an iridescent-y, glittery look, but it is still a dark, heavier color that sits really well there. Now, I'm going to transition over to this flatter brush. This is an e.l.f. brush that I've had for many years. Now, as I said, my plan was to use only this palette. So I am going to continue on to that. I'm using a color now called Turn On that I'm going to pop right up here to give the brow line a little bit of pizzazz. Because as I said, I'm a eyes and brows girl. I'm not really blush. I wear, but it's not my thing that I just have to have. I go through my spells with highlighters. So, yeah. This was not planned on being a talk-through video, but it's kind of happened like that. So, as you can see, that gives it a little bit more depth and transition. I do want a little darker in the crease, so I'm going to wipe this brush off, and I'm going to go back in with Privacy. Privacy actually is a matte color that's in this palette. So it does not have that glitter effect, but because you already have that glitter shadow down, it just blends right in and gives you a little bit more depth. And I do like that better. I like that separation where it doesn't look like everything is just there, but there's a hint of everything. So it transitions from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And you just blend that out. And I do use the windshield wiper motion. Just blend. Okay. So that's where we are with eyes. This is where I am now. I'm going to go back in with this e.l.f. brush. And I'm going to use Bang Bang. Bang Bang is a beautiful glitter pinky color. It gives you that hint of pink, but it gives you that sparkle as well. So when you do that, it is a little more sheer than what I really wanted for this look. So with that being said, I'm going to pull out I'm going to pull out my Gimme Butterflies palette. It is a ColourPop palette. ColourPop has some really great pressed eyeshadows. So I'm going to use a color called Winged. And yes, that did it. That gave me that subtle color, but that beautiful glitter that I like on my lids. And when it comes to the color on the lids, I always have a glitter there. I'm not big on loose glitters because I haven't really mastered loose glitters. So that's a learning curve for me that I am still working on getting done. But yes, so that did give me what I was looking for. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and dust off some things, clean up, because that ColourPop did put a lot of glitter in a lot of places. So I just go through and kind of clean that up. I use this E35 brush because it still has a little bit of color on it. So it kind of maybe fills in some of those spots that you missed. So I will come back and do a total review on this palette, but that's not what we're doing today. Like I said, we are doing this full face. So now we're going to do our liner. I have here, it is a Too Faced liner. I like a black liner. I like a deep, deep black liner. And I also am going to use the Blackest Black. It's from L'Oreal. It's one of their infallible liners. Because like I said, I do like a dark line. So to use this liner, I'm going to use this brush right here. And we just go in with this liner. Go here. And just line your lash line. And I like a really, really dark line because I usually wear lashes. And I don't think today is going to be any different. And the infallible liner does clean up really, really well. It is a cream liner. I do want the Inglot liner, but I just haven't made my way to Macy's to get it. And I order online, but I'm not really a big online girl because I like that I got it in my hands, immediate gratification thing. So that's why I don't do a lot of online shopping unless I have to. It is easier because I work and I do run a business and I do have a husband and a whole bunch of other things going on. So I do have a lot that keeps me busy, but at the same time, shopping is just my thing. It just does it for me sometimes. Sometimes I don't feel like going to the store. So those times that I don't feel like going to the store is those times I do online shopping. So this is what the first one looks like. I will go back in with my liquid Too Faced and clean that up. Make it a little darker, make it a little bit more defined. And so we're just going to do the same thing with this eye. We're just going to line. And if you like that dramatic eye, then I would suggest trying this infallible liner because it is a black. It's not one of those subtle blacks. And I think because I do use a primer and do use a lot of glitter shadows, that a cream liner is always good for that. Because sometimes the pencil doesn't work as well because the glitter gets on there and kind of, I ain't gonna say clogs it up, but kind of makes it skip. Kind of like a marker if you put it in glitter or something to that effect. All right, so I think that we are ready to rock with this liner. I like what I'm seeing. That line is bold, so I'm gonna make sure that when you're done with your liner, since it is a cream liner, that you cover it back up because it will dry out. So this is what the tip looks like. Oh, this is what the tip looks like. It's kind of flat. It's kind of weird, but it does its thing. Because all I'm doing now is I'm going in and cleaning up that line to make that line more defined. Because sometimes the brush does leave a little unstraight line. So there we go. Now I'm going to go in with my mascara. I don't have a particular one that I just have to have. I use an Ulta one. Today I'm using the Falsies Volume Express because I do want my own lashes to pop, even though I'm going to put some Falsies on. Maybe. So my lashes are fairly long. And see, as I was sitting here doing my lashes, I noticed, ooh, you missed a spot, girl. You need to go back and fix that. So I just go back in, fix that. Extended that wing a little bit. It's okay. I'm going to start working on my wings. So that's where we are with eyes. And we're going to put some lashes on. These are from Shop Miss A. I've had them for quite some time because I go through spells with lashes, but this is what they look like. They're kind of subtle, nothing too dramatic. But you'll be able to see that they're there. So I do use the House of Lashes glue. My glue is all yucky and gross, and I'll probably throw it away because I'm real picky. I know it's supposed to last for a while, but when it starts to get nasty around the top, I throw it away. So I just shake it for about 20-30 seconds. And pop the lash right on there. And you can adjust it to how you want it. I don't like it too close to the corner of my eye where I can feel it. And it does dry fairly clear. Sometimes you might have to go back in with your pencil and take out some of those white spots. Sometimes I'll go back in with a black eyeshadow to cover that up, because you don't want it to look like you got white stuff on your eye line. So all right. Then you just let that dry. I do keep messing with it until I know it's on there, because I can't stand the thought of my lashes flying off. So you can go ahead and take your tape off if you want. And there we go. You see the white there? So when it dries a little bit more for me to determine if I need to pop some black eyeshadow in there to cover that up, then I'll do that at that time. But right now I'm gonna let it dry a little bit more to see what it does. I do reuse my lashes 2 or 3 times, or until I just get tired of them. I don't go through that whole cleaning my lashes thing. That's just too much. So shake, 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 shake it. All right. So once again, we pop the lash right there on that lash line. I use my eyeliner line as like a template to follow to where my lashes will fall, because you don't want your lash halfway up your eye and people are looking at you like, whoa, what's really going on with her today? So I use that to push it down, and then it just falls right in there, and it just blends right in with your own lashes. Go ahead and take your tape off. Like I said, you can take your tape off at whatever point you want. I just left it on a little longer today, which is not common, but it is what it is. So we push it onto there, and there we go. And there we go. We got our lashes on. And so we just keep pushing it there. And you can't hear a little background noise. There's a little studying going on. So, all right, there we go. Lashes are on. This is what they look like. So as you can see, this one still has that, you can still see the eyeshadow there. Not eyeshadow, the lash glue there. So I'm going to go in with my lash toolie thing and try to spread some of it out. And then, so it's not too clumpy when I go back and put the black eyeshadow on. You can use any black eyeshadow that you want. I have several palettes that have a black eyeshadow in it. So I just pulled out one and I just popped it right onto there. And so it covers that up. This is a trick that I learned from another YouTuber a long time ago when I first started doing my lashes. I don't honestly remember who that YouTuber was, but it does work because you don't want it to look weird. Unless you have a glitter liner on that will kind of cover up some of that. But of course, as we can see, I don't have a glitter liner on, and I don't prefer a glitter liner. I do like my black liner. Now this left eye is really giving me some pushback with covering this glue up. I don't know what's going on with that. But we're gonna get it together. We is gonna get it together. All right, so okay, so got that covered up. Looks awesome. I'm gonna go back in with another liner. Nope, that's the CoverGirl liner. That's not the one I'm looking for. Where's my... Ha. Go back in with my Too Faced liner. And I'm gonna correct myself. Earlier, I did use the CoverGirl liner. Didn't even notice I did it. But what I do once I get my lashes on, I do go back in and make that line a little thicker. All right, so that's a little bit thicker, not really as thick as I want it. And that was the Too Faced liner. Like I said, I do like a dark line. So you may have to play around with it to get it to your liking. And that's normally what I do. I don't have a standard practice. I just play around with it until I get it as dark as I want to my liking. All right, so we got our eyes done. We got our lashes on. This is what our lashes are looking like. Final step, well, not really final step, but next step is going to be our foundation. So today, I'm going to be using the juviasplace. Juviasplace is really matte. Anybody who knows me knows I love a matte face. So I just put a little bit on my hand. I do put it on my hand so I can kind of warm it up. Because when it warms it up, it adheres to the skin better. So once it's warmed up, this is an IT brush. I've had it for quite some time. It's really kind of dirty today because I need to clean my brushes. But we just put it on. And as you can see, it is definitely a full coverage foundation. But you put it on, you just blend. I just pat it in with a stippling effect. And it is buildable, but just that little bit that I used is going to be enough to cover my whole face. Make sure you blend down so everything blends together. I do push it back off of my hairline because I do blend it into my hairline, and make sure that when you're washing your face that you are getting in your hairline if you're putting your foundation there, because you don't want that buildup. And I have locks, so anything that gets in those locks sits there. All right, beautiful. Look at there. I love it. Love it. So I'm gonna throw my brushes over there. I've got to schedule some time, like pencil in, write it down some time to clean my makeup brushes. So, this is what it's looking like. I do Might seem gross to y'all, but I stick my finger in since I do have a nose ring. I don't take my nose ring out to put my foundation on. I just reach in, push it out, wipe the top of it off so that your makeup is not in your nose ring. Then I go back in, blend that out. So, as I said, as you can tell, it's definitely heavy. It's a full coverage. If you don't like a heavy foundation, then this one will not be the one for you. And there we go. There it is. And so for I almost said far. Yes, I am from the South, so far. But anywho, no, for blush, I am going to use this Laura Geller Baked Blush. Just pop a little bit on there. And this does have a little bit of a highlighter to it. But since I have a lot going on with my eyes, I don't want to take away from the eyes with a heavy blush. So I'm going to use that. And I'm going to follow behind that with a little bit of this Too Faced Peachy blush. It's kind of like Max Orgasm. It's just a pop of pink. Just not a lot. Just a little subtle. Just subtle. So there we go. All right, so that's got our face done. I'm not going to do anything else to my face except for throw some powder on. I always put powder on my face because that just finishes that matte look. This is the Makeup Forever Pro Finish powder, and I have it in the color 170. Since I've been in Texas, I have not gotten a chance to really have a winter face, so it's kind of gone back and forth. Earlier last year or later last year, I was a little bit darker because I was out in the sun for about 7 days, so that was really, really nice. It was fun. But there it is. There is my full face. Eyes, lips, cheeks. Haven't done lips yet. So today, like I said, it's going to be a longer day. I am going to do this Lorac Pro liquid lipstick. It is a matte liquid lipstick. I did put a little oil on my lips before I put it on. All right, there we go. So, face is done. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. This will probably be a fairly long video, but full faces do take a little time. It does take a little bit more oomph, and just take your time so that you don't look like a clown, but you still look like yourself with just a little bit of enhancement. So once again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. I appreciate it. Love you, and see you in the next video.